So now we are going to make tree. Okay, so it's going to have branches, and then it's going to have like a big trunk, and it's like a heavy figurine. And I'm also going to teach you how to fix a heavy figurine on a cake, like a really tall figurine. Now, is it okay to have like a little bit of support under that figurine and then place it? So, and tree with a lot of branches, it's very exciting for me to make, and I thought it just has to be a part of this course. And so we are going to use wires and then make armature first. Armature is like the skeleton, so we just give the support of where we want each of the parts to be. In this case, it is the branches, okay? And then certain branches are like flowy, and then but the trunk is to be like really sturdy. So to make the armature, I am using wires, the floral wires basically. So this is a 18G wire. You can see bending it is a little difficult, okay? So I have about 3 of them. Maybe I'll use all 3, or depending on how I'm going to form the tree. And for the branches, okay, I just need a little thinner wire so I can bend them in the way I want. So it is easier to bend and then make them stay in the way I want the branches to be, okay? So these are 22 gauge and these are 18 gauge. So I have 2 sizes of the wires with me, and then what I have here is a floral tape again that will be used for sugar flower making only, but then we are just going to use that to build the armature. Now here is the sponge into which I'm just going to poke this through, and also I just want to check if my cake is going to be this height. Now if my cake is even taller than this, then I want the entire length of this wire that will be inserted into the cake to the height of my cake. So if I'm just going to poke this through in, and if my cake is just shorter, and if this is just going this much into the cake, now with the heavy weight of the figurine that is above the cake, now if this is the cake surface, you've poked only till here. Now if there is like a lot of weight on the top, now the cake is just going to the figurine is just going to keep immersing itself into the cake because of the weight, and then your cake just will collapse. So you want to have the support that will be there right from the cake board till the height of the cake, if this is the height. Now if the height of the cake is like even more, then you need so much of the wire to be hidden inside, and you need so much of the sponge to be in place. So we just need 2 of them, and 1 of them is not going to be enough. So I'm going to have another brick on top of this, okay? So I don't have to like insert it fully, because now I need to check what will be the height of my cake, and then I will decide how much I want to insert, and then how much is just going to be there. So like maybe this much I will insert, because my cake's height, I can just measure it, so much will go in, okay? So let me just start taping in from here, and then make it together as a single piece, and then I will tape it all the way till here, okay? So that will be my trunk, this entire thing. So out of which this will go inside the sponge, and this will just stay as the trunk of the tree, okay? So to start taping, I just take out the floral tape, and if you are a first time user of the floral tape, then you just need to keep stretching the tape, okay? And then you can see the color changes, and then they are self adhesive tapes, and as you tape around, you need to keep stretching. So use the index and the thumb finger, and use the index and thumb finger of the right hand, and keep twisting it, and hold this at an angle, and keep stretching and keep twisting. So that way it will just stick, and it will join the wires. Okay, so now let me just insert okay, so let me just check how much has gone inside. So this much has gone inside. Okay, so now I'll decide how much is the trunk. Okay, so I just want a tall tree. So let me just start bending out from where the branches will start. Okay, so now I will take this out, and here I'm just going to start attaching the thinner wire. I'm just going to bend this wire. I can cut it and use as well. I'm going to bend it here and tape around. We could also just lock it in and tie up. And then let me just tape it from there. Just check if it is staying in place. You don't have to wrap up the entire thing. Okay, so we got 2 additional branches here, and then I'm just going to do it to all the 3. Making sure the tape doesn't release itself and loosen up the wires that are attached there. So I will cut out the excess in case I feel like that is like too long. Okay, now I'm just going to check if I need some more loose wires. So I'm just going to add the extra wires as well. Okay, so I could add it from here. So basically I just want smaller wires, so I use scissors and then cut them out. So I'm just adding as many branches as I would like. I'm attaching one here. Okay, so now I have quite a bit of branches. Now let me just check if they are like too long. Then let me just go in and chop off. Okay, now I'm just going to place it over. Okay, so this is the height I'm looking at, and then the branches are just going to fan out. So once you position, so the thicker wires are just going to help you stay at a stable place. So you can just play around with the thicker wires first, and then on the thicker wires, obviously you can even make figurines sit. So it's important that you kind of have the thicker wires in place and plan where you're just going to make the figurines sit. Now once you have the basic structure ready, now you need to start building the the trunk. Now for the trunk, you can build the entire trunk using fondant or gum paste, but the other way to do is to use an aluminum foil. Okay, so I'm just going to start building the bulk using a foil. So I'm just going to wrap the foil and just form a thicker base. So this is just going to make the figurine light up and then make it look like it is big. Obviously the client should know that they can't just bite through this, and it has quite a lot of wires in the first place. So obviously this is not for eating because there is quite a lot of wires in it. So to avoid the weight, we can just add the foil. So I'm just making the bottom broader, okay, and then the top will be narrower. So once you build the initial bulk, and then we just go on and start adding the gum paste. Now I have brown gum paste with me. You could use fondant as well, because this structure is there like stable. Okay, so now I'm just going to take out a bit. Now as the bottom is like quite a flat sheet is enough, I'm just going to roll out. I mean, it doesn't have to be like super neat and uneven surface because anyway we have the foil there. So I'm just going to roll this, and I'm going to get the tree in. I'm going to brush glue, edible glue. Okay, and then I'm just going to take this sheet and then wrap it around. I'm just going to chop off the excess. So we anyway be giving textures on this. So now I'm just going to add more gum paste and then fill up. You want a gentle tapering around, and now I'm just going to add gum paste onto the branches. Like I'm going to cover each of the wire with the brown gum paste. So now as you're using the brown gum paste onto the thinner wires, which are like the thinner branches, and also if it is a thin wire, then it cannot take in a lot of weight as well. So try and keep it thin. So add the gum paste around on each wire separately, and it doesn't have to be even, so that's the best part. So you just need to cover up the wire and then just make sure that you're not showing that there is wire, but the branches are just standing on its own. So I'm just going to go ahead and then cover up all the individual wires here, and then get back when I have covered all the wires, and so we can just continue on to the next step. So all the wires are covered. You can see like all the spiral branches of the tree just come together so nicely. Okay, and now on top of this I just want to add texture. So we could use a Dresden tool to mark the lines. You can just make the bark tree trunk texture by just making an eye and then just having the lines around it like so, an eye. Okay, and make a smaller eye and get the other lines next to it. Switch over to a bit of sharper tool to just make more prominent lines. So we're just going to paint on this, so textures will start showing up after we've done painting. So just pay attention, though it's just going to be like really not a very patterned texture, but just pay attention and give the texture all around. So you can also just create the tree holes. Okay, like maybe about this one, and then maybe one around in here. And just blend in those ones we added at the end. Okay, and now we could allow this to dry for some time, or if it is quite dry and if it can handle the liquid from the paint. So I'm just going to color this. I'm going to use brown, and so I've just added the brown petal dust, and into that I'm going to dilute by adding vodka. I'm just going to paint over. So now I'm just going to continue painting for all these branches individually, making sure I've just not left out any of the branches, and then I'll get back once I've finished painting all the branches. So I finished off all the branches, okay, and now I'm just going to touch upon a bit of highlights, which is like darker shades here and there. So we just kind of create the depth. Okay, so once the painting is done, we have the branches ready, and for the leaves. So we've seen how to make the microwave sponge. So I have the one here with me. So I'm just going to start adding. Now that we have the color dusted and painted with Otka, so that moisture is enough for these sponges to go and sit. Now if maybe you're just going to wait for this color to completely dry, and then maybe we need some more glue to stick these leaves. So the sponge is here. I'm just going to kind of open up, okay, and then you start seeing the pores here. I'm just going to pinch off and make it uneven, okay, and I'm just going to check where it is going to be suitable. So in case the liquid there is drying up and then you need some moisture for the sponge to stick, add more. So I'm just going to go find places where I can just attach. If you keep falling, you can just add in more glue and then stick. So first find the positions of where exactly the tree leaves are going to look good. I'm just going to stick in some more here, but just smaller pieces are enough. So once you have these leaves stuck, just ensure that there is enough moisture for the sponge to stick. So once the sponges are stuck well, and then it is just going to stay there and then dry out completely. And just see how you want, like bigger leaves, kind of branches, and then just make it look a bit rugged, and don't use them like split into half and then just placing them like half and half, because you just want to make it look like there are actually leaves. So the porous holes from the sponges make the effect look like they are actually leaves from far away. Okay, so then you can use them as moss, so you can save them, and you can use them like moss around on the cake when you're just going to use the trees. And you can just press it down to check which is the the stronger wire, the thicker wire, and then the figurines can just come and sit on top of this. Okay, so that's how you make like a bigger tree with a lot of branches and then leaves to make it suitable for actually the figurines sit on top of it. And so that's the tree with armature.